6:01, and I think this meeting will probably be over by then. Um, yes, I was driving when I was. Hello, hello. All right, so let's go ahead and get things started. Welcome everyone to the Human Rights Commission meeting. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yvette Ellis,
Present.
Anna Rajesh, here. Sihama Mehdi, Jennifer Cannon, Jennifer Aranda,
Present.
Triton Garretts,
Present.
Sebastian McDougall.
Here.
All right, I'll start with our land acknowledgement. We, the Moorhead Human Rights Commission, collectively and with gratitude acknowledge the sacred land of the city of Moorhead is built upon. We acknowledge the people who have resided here for generations and recognize that the spirit of the Dakota, Ojibwe, Métis, and all indigenous communities permeates this land. The contributions of the indigenous people shall not be forgotten, nor will the success that is achieved by the people of the land. We will continue to educate, advocate, honor, and unite for indigenous peoples of this land. So in our, we have the approval of our April 15th meeting minutes. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve, Trent.
Second?
Second. Sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So we have two guest speakers on our agenda for today. We're going to have Justice North presenting today. We have Crystal Jamerson. And then we have another speaker. We have a slight adjustment to our program. Our intended speaker was going to be Troy Jackson, and he's in traffic. And so I'll be supporting Callan, so I'll be presenting and she'll be co-presenting with me information for today about our upcoming Juneteenth events. So we'll go ahead and get started. We have Justice North.
Good evening. I am not on your agenda because I'm crashing your meeting. My name is Ann Hefkin. I'm the co-executive director of Justice North. I just wanted to say, thank you for having us tonight. And I'm mostly going to give this over to Crystal to talk about the event, but also wanted to just present because we were formerly Legal Services of Northwest Minnesota. I spoke here a while ago, and we recently merged with Legal Services of Northeast Minnesota. So we still have an office here in Moorhead, but we are now Justice North. We serve 33 counties across northern Minnesota with free legal help for low-income individuals who have non-criminal legal needs. So most people know the public defenders. We are on the other side of the justice system. So people facing domestic violence, public benefits issues, issues with disability, housing is a huge area that we provide services in. And we also like to get out in the community, talk about what we do, and share ideas. And so that's what Crystal's going to talk about with our community huddle. So thanks for having us.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us here today. My name is Crystal Jamerson, and I'm the Community Outreach and Partnerships Lead here at Justice North. As part of my role, I go out into many of the communities that we serve in our 33 counties to be able to talk with community members, talk with organizations to see what type of issues that they're experiencing with their community and how can Justice North help? What type of services are we able to provide? What we had realized about 2 years ago was that there was a drop in some of the BIPOC community that was getting services at Justice North, and we wanted to figure out what was going on, what was happening. So we reached out to a lot of the different BIPOC leaders in the communities to see what can we do. What we realized is that there were a lot of different organizations doing the same thing, a lot of duplicative work. We wanted to see how can we bridge some of those so that we can be a support, we can be help, and that people are getting services the way that they need to. So we decided to have kind of a interactive community session, and we named it the Community Huddle. The Community Huddle was to be able to allow communities to come together to talk about the issues, to figure out what organizations are actually doing the work, and if there are some gaps, how do we collaborate together to make those issues not disappear, not put a Band-Aid on it, but start doing work to start to make them better, get these issues to possibly be resolved. So our first year was amazing. We are doing it again for our second year. With some of the conversations that we've been having, immigration has popped up tremendously through all sorts of different meetings that I've been at. And so we wanted to make sure that there was a hot topic of immigration resources available. We wanted to know who is doing the work, what's going on, how can we help community members, and what organizations can be able to partner together so that it's not just 2 people in one organization serving 25 families. So what can we actually do? We wanted to make sure that the Human Rights Organization knew about this because it's really important to share what's going on in our community. And we feel this is an excellent opportunity for organizations, community members, government officials, whoever's thinking about their community as a place that they want to live at. Those are the people that are invited. Anybody's invited to the table. I do have flyers that are here. I just asked if everybody can register so we all know who's going to be coming there. The space is not limited, but the space is limited because there's only so many people and we are filling up really fast. So we definitely invite you guys to come. It would be a really great opportunity. There will be, it is from June 2nd from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's at the Christensen Alumni Center at MSUM in Moorhead. And we are partnering with a few organizations. It'll be on the bottom of the flyer. And we want everybody to kind of know about it. And we're really, really excited to bring it. Hopefully we'll be able to bring it again next year. And you'll get some opportunities to see some wonderful organizations at work. Oh, yes, and there's going to be food. So please make sure you get there before 5 so you can enjoy some tacos from, we're going to be with La Unica, which is going to be great because we like to support local. So please join us.
Thank you so much. And, I was going to ask, I was like, oh, is y'all having food? No, I'm not joking. No, the question I actually was going to ask was like, was there a max capacity like for community? But you kind of answered that. And so will the registration kind of like no longer take submissions at a certain point, or is,
Yes.
how will community, how will people know, they're at max?
Yes, there is a fire capacity. We're trying to just cut it. We'll be cutting it probably. Was it May 31st? That will be kind of the cutoff date. So if you're able to register before the 31st, that would be good. Just because it gives us an opportunity to let our vendor know how much to prepare. And we want to make sure that we have enough food for everybody. Right now, we are more than double than we were last year, which is huge, which lets us know that immigration is a hot topic. People are concerned about their community, and we're hoping for a really great, friendly, respectful turnout. Yes.
Great. And one more thing. So as far as the event itself, because this would be my first attending this event, is it recorded? You know, like how will the rest of the community that maybe is unable to attend be able to kind of hear, you know, like maybe results or is there some kind of result sharing space?
No, that's a great question. It is not recorded. We do encourage everybody to come to the meeting, but we're hoping that everyone is able, the different organizations and people that are there are able to disseminate some of the information to the others in the community. One of the solutions we have at the end, and I won't give it away, will be a way that we're able to continue to share the information and the work that we did at the meeting. So hopefully, if you're not there, you'll still be able to get in on the information that has been present at the meeting. But yes, it's a special surprise. No joking, not that special.
Do you have any other questions? Well, thank you so much for
I had a
taking-
question,
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I had to get that thing. I'm wondering if the app is still active and if that's a way for folks to see some of the organizations that might be there. And then secondly, is there tabling if we have materials or?
Yes. So the Huddle Hub was an app that was developed during the first community huddle as a way for organizations to be able to stay together, to collaborate, and to share. So that app is still open. We want to make sure that the app still is able to grow. So we'll be putting the QR code so that people that do come to the meeting is able to continue to collaborate and share with each other. Currently, the partners that are collaborating right now for this huddle, we don't have like logos or anything on there, but information for all of the community partners that have joined is still on the app. So yes, that one will be available. To the second question for tabling, for this event, we will have table host because we want to make sure that the conversation goes smoothly. So each organization that is partnering with us will have a table. They'll be able to disseminate their information at the table, and hopefully with guided conversation, they'll be able to let them know about the different organizations that are there. I think it'll be important for everybody to be able to have that information. We'll do it's like a speed networking event where you'll be able to go to other tables and grab other information too, so you won't just be limited to the information that's at your table. But it should hopefully gather more collaboration and talks amongst the tables. Thank you for that.
Any other questions?
Crystal, just a quick question. You and I have known each other for a while now. Is there still room for potential organizations to register?
Absolutely. Right now, we are not at our capacity. However, we are filling up. So I definitely would, I have some flyers with me today that I will leave at the back of the table, so you can grab that. You can use the QR code or the registration link, and you can still register. And then if there is somebody or an organization you're like, hey, it'd be really good to have them at the table, feel free to reach out to me personally, and I can reach out and see if they would like to come. We can add them.
And knowing, you know, what we do at the Land Trust, do you think this would be a benefit for us to be there? It's more of a self-serving question, so I apologize.
No,
But
absolutely. I feel that, you know, in your organization, it's not just the majority that are coming to you that are low-income individuals. You're serving majority, minority, new Americans. There's not a demographic that you're not able to serve. And so some of those household members are going to be people with immigration type of issues. So it would be nice to be an organization that said, hey, we know that your husband may have just been detained. So here are some resources in the community that can help you out. And we want to be an organization that's always being proactive with our community that we serve. So I think it's definitely a wonderful event for that.
More questions? I was like being real quick.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you're great.
But yeah, no, again, thank you so much for hosting this and putting this event on. I think it's really important for a community to really be able to get together, especially when we're trying to find different ways to troubleshoot hot topics. And, you know, the community huddle is one of those areas where, you know, I heard that, you know, would be a great space to host. So you must have did some great job at the first one.
Yes,
and
we
so
did.
We look forward to this happening and community participation.
Absolutely. And for my last comment, I would love and appreciate if next year that the HRC would want to be involved as one of our partners so that we can continue to grow this throughout Moorhead. I think that would be amazing. So that's my only ask. And I appreciate your guys' time today. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, so up next we have our Juneteenth event. So I'm going to make a small transition here. Do you want to give him one of the cards? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so hi everybody. Right now I have Callan. She's passing around some postcards that you're going to see moving around through the city. That just kind of highlights our upcoming event that we're partnering with a couple of different organizations to host our Juneteenth event. Our intended speaker, he had some issues getting here, so I'm going to get us started. So my name is Yvette Ellis. I'm a part of the planning committee, and with me I have,
Helen Myers.
she's also a part of the planning committee. And so, okay, so this will be Moorhead Juneteenth celebration for 2026. This is the 5th annual. We're celebrating 160, it's our 160th celebration of the census. So, a movement for human rights. So, Juneteenth, like you wonder, you may be asking yourselves, why are we here today? Like, what is this all about? How do we make this connection with human rights? So, I'll give you a little story or a little bit of history that we have here. This is not the full history, but this is just some information to kind of share, just so that way you can kind of understand like our purpose. Juneteenth is not just a historical event, it's a global testament to the universal right to liberty, dignity, and self-determination. The universal right to liberty. The emancipation as a human right. When Major General Granger read General Orders Number 3 in 1865, it wasn't just a local decree, it was the restoration of Article 1 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity. A lot of folks are really thrilled about, we're all celebrating the 250th. And so we look at what that significance is. So within the 250 years, the United States became free. And so, but not all residents of the United States had those rights. And so Juneteenth is what we're here to discuss, because 90 years later, we have the fight for equity. Moorhead's Juneteenth, supported by the Human Rights Commission, serves as a modern safeguard for civil rights, promoting inclusion and securing equal opportunity for every citizen, regardless of background. So we have the Chronicles of Progress. So Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. Freedom arrived in Galveston on June 19th, 1865. In 2019, Moorhead began its local annual celebration. In 2021, Juneteenth became a U.S. federal holiday. Okay, so for our 5th year, Juneteenth is going to, well, this is going to be the first year Juneteenth is at MSUM. It's going to be Friday, June 19th, 2026. The time is going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The venue is Minnesota State University, Moorhead. a community gathering honoring Black history, culture, and resilience on the beautiful campus of MSUM. The admission is free and is open to the public. So, celebrating the census, sound. So the planning committee, we're working together to ensure that we have live music, spoken word, powerful cultural performances. Those are still like a work in progress. We have the QR code the poster that we send to everybody basically has a QR code on there. If you are a vendor or a performer and you'd like to take part, you have up until the 25th to add yourself to that. We have site, artistic expression, Afro-futuristic showcases, and cultural murals. So we're working with a lot of local artists and maybe a few that are coming in, maybe from the Twin Cities, to provide this site experience. I believe we're looking at having murals. Yes, so I'm like, you chime in, whatever.
Yes, we are looking at having a mural. We found a artist that just moved to the area. She is a published artist. She's living out of Alexandria. She just submitted 3 different concepts to me to present to the committee that we'll do at the next committee meeting.
So we're really trying to get that local buy-in. We're also going to have a taste. So a vibrant community cookout featuring diverse local food vendors. And this right here, I know oftentimes we go to different events and people have to pay to eat, pay to drink, or just kind of, pay for stuff. This is a free event. There will be vendors that will be providing some things at a lower cost than they normally would charge as a way of giving back to the community. We also have some vendors providing some free items. We have a lot of vendors that are providing free items. So if you don't have any money, still show up because we have something for everybody. We're really trying to cater to the community, making sure that everybody feels included and supported in this initiative, in this celebration.
And with the taste, there will also be a community meal. So that's like a free meal that will be provided to the community for a set, was it an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours where you can come,
food is gone.
or until the food is gone.
And then we have some common questions. So the inclusivity. We welcome all races and genders and ages. Youth attendance is highly encouraged. And so when we talk about inclusivity, we know that Moorhead is not 90% African American or descendants. We want to make sure that everybody feels welcome, but also has various aspects of what Juneteenth is about. You get to celebrate with some of our celebratory dances that range throughout history, throughout time. You get to taste some of the cuisines from different parts. It's a very diverse community, so you're going to get something from one or another part of the community. You're also going to see different performers that are diverse in their talents as well. And then also we want to reel it into some of the historical spaces where we've had individuals who gave back to the community. So we'll have the
Felix
the Felix Battle.
So a couple of, I guess we'll have a few educational components. One is a 4-panel discussion after a skit. Another is we have 2 planned marches to the Felix Battle statue, which is a statue that is on MSUM that a lot of people don't know the history of this former veteran who started the first barbershop in the area. So we also have intentions to have someone come out from the hair community to either provide lessons or cuts or something. We're not quite sure she's in, but we're not quite sure to what capacity she's going to be participating. And then there was one more thing I was going to say.
If it comes back, we'll be
Okay.
here. Okay. And then also, with our vendors, and the uniqueness of this event is all vendor booths are free. We just ask that if you're selling food, that you make sure that you have your license, because MSUM is going to make sure that you have the right license, so that way we can make sure for safety reasons.
Oh, that's
So-
what I was gonna say, but we have a slide for it. So.
Yeah, so, and most of you in here may know a little bit about the Destiny Holiday Award. And so, in honoring the legacy, named after Destiny, Grandmama Holiday, the guiding force behind Moorhead's first Juneteenth, this award recognizes individuals who exemplify compassion, resilience, and commitment to the community. Nominations are currently open for the Community Champion Award to be presented at the Moorhead City Council meeting. So, because of the way the way we're doing stuff, we just we're waiting to get more information from the Human Rights Commission about how we're going to proceed with the Destiny Holiday Award. So that right there, this was pre-written, so that's just an edit. And then, so the next part is join the movement. Volunteering, lend your time to help and coordinate activities, donations. We welcome in-kind support for the community cause, and then you can register using the QR code on the form to support. And so look out for more information on that. Next slide. Okay. So 160 years of resilience. You keep seeing that number, 160. Why it matters. This anniversary marks 16 decades of cultural innovation, ancestral memory, and the persistent pursuit of human rights. In Moorhead, we translate this global history into local action, fostering a more united and resilient community for the next generation. Advocacy and human rights. Advancing equity and inclusion as a community pillar. Soweto NFH, advocacy and support for the diaspora, and Moorhead, a city committed to justice and dignity. So our partners and sponsors. We have host institution is Minnesota State University Moorhead, civic support, the City of Moorhead and Human Rights Commission, health and wellness, Essentia Health and Sanford Health, academic arts, Concordia College and Fred's Dissonance, advocacy partners, Soweto NFH, advocacy and support. So special thanks to our local entrepreneurs and community champions. So this just kind of gives like just a little highlight of what we're bringing. There's a lot of areas that we're still working through, and so does anybody have any questions, or did you have some stuff? Yes.
I
Oh, wait.
I was going to ask if Dr. Clark, because of Concordia and also because you're Dr. Clark, wanted to say anything.
Yeah. Good. Come to the mic so they can hear you.
Hi. Question for whomever, I suppose. I noticed in the presentation that there was a mention of, I think, community volunteers helping when it comes to security and whatnot. So my question is what security, there we go, and safety do we have that's not working with the police to make sure that everyone feels safe? This is an event about Juneteenth, emancipation from slavery, police, all the descendants of slave catchers. So it's been my understanding that this is the first year the police are going to be present. Again, I'm new here. So yeah, what kind of safety is going to be in place outside of the police and not working with the police? Yeah.
Thank you for that great question, and thank you for the history piece on that. So the college campus, they have security there. We have some meetings, some future meetings scheduled to kind of get that tied in. Do you have a little bit more information on that part? Okay.
I can say that I know I'm part of Scouting America, and I know that we're looking for volunteers from our troops to come out and also support and just have a presence. But I can't speak more to what the plan is for safety. I am noting it and planning to bring it up at the next committee meeting.
Yeah, and one thing, because we have, if you're familiar with the college, there's an open, like, one-way there. So we will be having, like, the city. Yeah, they shut down the street. So what that looks like, I'm not too sure. But we are, Jared would be like a good person to ask about more of the logisticals. I'd hate to put the chief on spot. Like, do you happen to know, like, has there been any communication as far, I know as part of the participation, your department will be participating, but as far as like the actual event, could you speak to that maybe?
Yeah, I can speak to this. Our presence there is to help positively engage with the community and make sure it's a safe event. So we're going to do what we need to do on that. And I talked to Ryan Nelson at MSUM Security yesterday to kind of talk through this a little bit. And we definitely want to be part of that conversation, again, to make sure it's a safe event for everyone who attends and participates. And, again, I think we have some more work to do on that, but yeah, we'll be there one way or the other.
Yeah, and so we're 30 days away from the event, so this is just like really high level. We're taking in any questions that people may have. We have contact information out there, so if people are wanting to know a little bit more information, or if they have specific questions, as we get those things answered, we're going to ensure to share that information. One of our members posted on Facebook, so if you follow Facebook, we'll send out community updates on a bunch of our different sites that we could do, so that way the community is aware of how they can get, if they have questions, they can ask those in those spaces. But we have some upcoming meetings scheduled here later in the month to get some of those questions answered. So thank you for that. Do we have any questions? Any other questions?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so Moorhead, Juneteenth. So just look at under the events. So we have an event there.
I just wanted to emphasize the importance of Dr. Clark's question, and also request that the committee look at who security is at MSUM, because I think that there's a close tie with the cops. I don't know if everyone is a law enforcement officer sworn, but I think bringing in somehow the scouting and would be great.
Yeah, and we're open to volunteers as well. And so as those conversations come up, we want to make sure that we get those answered. And ultimately, we really want to make sure that by inviting our full community, we have people that have good intentions. We also have individuals that may not. And so for safety and security reasons, especially when you have larger populations, there has to be some presences there. And at what that looks like, just to ensure that the event goes smoothly, we will be discussing that and making sure that we provide information regarding that. That's not in my area of expertise, so I will meet with the experts and make sure that we do get some questions answered. Yes.
I know that the program is still being developed, but I don't remember seeing any sort of outreach for the indigenous communities in the area. Do we have any sort of Native American or indigenous people that will also be involved, since we know they also had a history of being enslaved in this country too?
Thank you for that question. And I can let you know that we have pushed out this information to the whole community as far as people that were interested in participating in an event that celebrates Juneteenth. And I also know that we also don't want to water down this event because we really want to be purposeful and specific as to what we are celebrating. Like we said before, all the community is welcome. We do have a QR code for participators, for vendors. So if there are individuals that are in the indigenous community that maybe haven't registered yet, or we may have some folks that have registered, we are still going through the process of ensuring that they still want to participate in their capacities, but we also want to make sure that anybody that is providing some form of, like anybody that's participating, that they're making a connection to Juneteenth and that history.
Just one component there.
Okay, there.
It is also just important to know that we do celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, and the HRC has been part of that as well. So there is an event usually that we're part of in October to recognize some of those concerns and some of those past historic events as well. So if they're not recognized at this event, we do also recognize them at a later time on Indigenous Peoples Day in October. So just so you're aware.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to our presentation, and we'll have more information. Be on the lookout for more information. So like, follow, share our various different communication platforms, and to be informed. So, thank you. Testing. Okay. So do we have any community partners to be heard? Hearing none. Do we have any citizens to be heard? So when you come up, if you can state your name, if you are a City of Moorhead resident, and there you go. I won't put a time on there or anything.
Thank you. My name is Jamal Abigaz. I am a resident of the City of Moorhead. I have a couple of things I just want to address y'all about. I'm here actually because I was made aware that the Juneteenth planning is going to involve having the police there. I think that's absolutely ridiculous on a day that we're celebrating freedom from the slave catchers to have the descendants there as a part of this event. If this goes through, if this is how it's going to go, not only will I, as somebody who's organized in this community for 10 years, not attend, not only will I, as somebody who spoke at the first City of Moorhead Juneteenth celebration, not attend, but I'm going to contribute my efforts to anybody who's going to organize a cop-free event. Also, while I'm here, I was awarded the Human Rights Award by this commission in 2020. I never got my award. Do you guys know where it is? Counselor White doesn't seem to know where it is. It's 6 years later, I never got it.
Well, I have been on the Human Rights Commission since last year.
Yeah, I know.
And what I will do is, thank you so much for sharing that information with me. I will ensure to follow up with our team to make sure that you do receive your award. If you have, if you haven't received it, I'll follow up with them to see how that can be rectified. Also, I want to make it, I just want to just share thought. I do understand, we talk a lot about like the history of Juneteenth, Oftentimes we forget about the forward progression with things. We have a lot of people who are working towards like making things a lot better. And in the community, we don't have a large representation of African Americans in the community. We do have some representation, how sparing it may be, of a representation of us. But at the same time, in order for individuals to know about our history, I think it's important to invite folks in to learn about what's happening or what has happened in the past and make a choice to make a decision if they're going to use this information and make positive choices. But if we're not inviting the full community to a space where they could learn and engage positively in our community, I think it's also important for our kids to be able to have these interactions with individuals that are a part of the community. And so everybody is welcome to attend this event. We do not condone or we will not support any like singling out or any negative communications. They're there for our safety. We're taxpayers as well. They're supposed to be there for our safety. And so ensuring our safety is important. And so that's just me speaking as an individual and as a Black woman. I think it's hard for us to set up here and say that we don't want police to be at an event, but at the same time, we want to call them for support. I want
I don't want to
them
call them for support either. I don't want to call them for support.
so that as an individual, you have that right, but we would like to see positive interactions with our community and with our local law enforcement, with all of the departments in our community. But it is a choice, it is an invitation. You can choose to come to the event, but you also have the right and choice not to attend the event. So I'll stop there. Do we have any other citizens to be heard? So
I want to just take a moment to say thank you for sharing that. It's important. I hear you. I haven't made a decision. This is a much deeper issue than just Juneteenth. And I don't have the answer. But thank you for sharing that.
Anybody else have?
Just something to keep in mind as decisions are being made. Yes, this is an event that's celebrating freedom and of course, you know, the descendants of African Americans. And since we are trying to be inclusive and welcoming everybody in the community, let's also keep in mind that Moorhead has decided not to pass a separation ordinance with ICE and the police. So if we want everyone to feel welcome, keep in mind we have very vulnerable people in our community who are at high risk than others. So the presence of some uniformed people will make people feel very uncomfortable, not just Black folks. Well, at least U.S. Black folks, I should say.
Thank you for sharing. Do we have any other citizens to be heard? We'll move on to our regular business. Have any regular business? No. Do we have any subcommittee reports? Our education and outreach. We're scheduled to meet June 2nd with the full HRC to kind of discuss future planning. So if you haven't RSVP, please make sure you do. Tanya, did you get everybody's RSVP for that?
June 2nd?
Yes, June 2nd.
Yep, everyone on the commission has stated that was the date that would work. And I have it out for public notice as well. So even though it's not like our normal routine monthly meeting, because our June meeting usually lands in the month where ScanFest is going on here at the Yumcom Center and the holiday of Juneteenth. So June 2nd, it's not gonna be held in the auditorium, it's gonna be held in our Willow Room, but yet still, community members, public are invited to come, but it'll be more of a informal way for us to discuss, our future planning of what we wanna, dive into for the human rights in our committees, so.
On to the events. Words. So
Just put it under the new business since it wasn't on last, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was
I did
like,
put the Destiny Holiday Awards. I wasn't sure if I should
Okay,
put that under
thank
the
you.
subcommittee, but yeah, it's under the new business.
So with the, go ahead.
Because we had spoken about the immigration subcommittee the last time that we were together, I was hoping for an update on that.
Yeah, so with the immigration subcommittee, if you didn't have an opportunity to tune in to the city council meeting where they were able to, if you didn't get an opportunity to tune in, I'll hand it over to Sebastian for the report out.
Sure. I know when we met 3 different times, and we met with multiple different community leaders, minority community leaders, business partners, multiple different times to address the issue with ICE and what we've seen in the community. And there really was not a major call to action. There wasn't, like, for example, we were told we had multiple people losing their homes and stuff because of ICE and whatnot. But when we brought Moorhead Public Housing in right away, our very first meeting, they had no calls. There was no call to action. They haven't received anything, and that was just a multiple. I should say it was multiplied with everyone we talked to. Initially, when everything had first come out with ICE, yes, there was a regression. Businesses, kids not going to school, stuff like that. But then it rebounded right away. There was a Superintendent Lunick talked about kids not going to school. When he first talked to us, he said it was about 5 to 10% of families or kids that weren't showing up. But then our last meeting said no, he misinterpreted or misstated. It was 5 to 10 families, not 5 to 10%. So that's a significant drop in people and for schools that were, or kids that were going to schools that were not. He also said the ICE was not in any of the buildings or in the parking lots or anything else like that, and we haven't heard anything as well. So there was, with all that data that we had come across, there was no reason to call for separation of orders. So that's kind of how we left it.
And I do know one thing is, as far as the outcomes, that's a space where they were able to come up with the community huddle and focus on the topic of immigration and have more community partners at the table to kind of like talk through that a little bit.
Yeah, they did decide if people are experiencing issues and whatnot, to go to First Link. That's the best spot to get any sort of information or guidelines, is to go that way. There's a link on the city website they can certainly go to and get directed that way, but that was the consensus of the committee.
Also, on our HRC website, there is a link on there that has updated information on there that's also being shared on the city's website. So that's a new addition that, since our last meeting, update resource space for individuals who maybe are familiar with our Human Rights Commission page. They're able to go to that link and then it'll take them to additional resources. So that was the update. Was there anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
question or comment, or how does that work? Like, yes, you can come up.
Highly encourage you all to actually go back and watch the city council meeting if you have access to it, any of those notes. Unfortunately, Sebastian fell asleep when Deb White was actually counting off several instances of people in our community who have been taken by ICE and families who are very much scared, not just about things they saw on social media, not about the Twin Cities, but actually here in Moorhead, including students from my campus, Concordia. So unfortunately, maybe Sebastian was asleep when she was rattling it off, since we saw him kind of doze a few times, but check the receipts yourself. Just
Sure, come on, come up.
As part of the city council meeting, the counselor talked about how I guess the city had been having some communications with community partners. People have reached out to me directly, have been since January, since the first raids in the Fargo-Moorhead area were occurring. And we have been working with others in the community, other ad hoc formations, members of the community just coming together to resolve these issues. A lot of people have not come to the city government. A lot of people have not come to the city council. As Councilor Niesemeyer noted, that the lead was for organizing to support the community was coming from the community. That there were social workers that were actually reaching out to members of the community who were doing that mutual aid work and that ICE Watch work. The need for that particular separation ordinance, I think, is very clear. I think members of the commission showed their lack of care for their community and also their extreme cowardice. Taking the position that it hasn't happened here, as Councilor Borgen stated, means that apparently they don't think it can. It's a type of leading from the rear that we don't need. I would urge this commission to reconsider, maybe talk with some of these people and address whatever fears they have, but definitely to endorse and put forth before the commission or the council another ordinance. This needs to get passed. We need this. And yes, we did see you falling asleep. Counselor, oh, we got pictures. You can nod your head. We got pictures.
Okay.
We got pictures. Okay.
Well,
But yes, thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
sharing. And I just want to make sure that the city council, what happens in the city council meetings and their votes, they're elected officials. We're a volunteer, and the information, this is like this is an opportunity for community members to come, whether they're afraid, could potentially have somebody else come and speak, such as yourself, or another member of the community can come. Throughout that time, I've been very open about community members coming to our HRC and providing us updates about, or just letting us know what's happening in the community, so that way we are able to tackle different issues as a community, or bring those, talk about it amongst our specific area. We also were invited to be a part of that, and so we were just waiting for information to come, so that way when we took part of those the ad hoc meeting, that we were able to speak to those spaces. But thank you so much for sharing. Unfortunately, that ad hoc committee meeting, they're not convening. But if y'all have issues, this is a space to be heard. It is recorded. And then, as a commission, we discuss those things and hope that way we could discuss community issues.
We appreciate you sharing. The commission appreciates you using us as a platform to express your opinions. Perhaps in the future, we can keep it a little more respectful, less accusing, but we do really appreciate you sharing your opinion.
All right. So we're going to have to move on to our new business, discussing the Destiny Holiday Award nominations. So we have some time. Let's discuss that. So we have received some nominations but we didn't really receive a lot of nominations for the Destiny Holiday Award. A few things kind of came up out of that. So a suggestion was to have it be like kind of open at the Juneteenth event, or people could make some submissions there. So that way we'd have community members there. We'd have more folks be able to provide submissions as far as who they feel embodies at the Destiny Holiday Award. It's a suggestion that was brought up. And this is a space for us to discuss. So it's open for discussion.
There we go. I have a few issues with this process. Certainly the award, all that's fine. I do not feel as I am a very good representative to select somebody for this award. If there was more criteria maybe surrounding it outside of the spirit of the award or embodying it, I don't really know what embodying it means per se. There's no real measurable way to figure that out. It's a little bit more subjective than I would like. And I don't think I'm the most equipped to make that decision on who is being a leader within some of these communities that I may not be in every day. With that said, one of the things I would maybe suggest as we move forward, one of the things we could ask of past recipients that have received their award, sorry to hear that you haven't, that they are part of a selection committee moving forward, because those are people that are embodying it, understand what the award is, understand what the criteria is, what they're all looking for. And if we don't want to go that route, then my other suggestion would be that we need more clear-cut criteria, something that's a little bit easier to judge just based on, or consider, I shouldn't say judge, but consider rather than just having words. Because again, I don't know how to, all three of these have done great things, but to say, I can't say honestly who I feel has done a better job or a better representation or embodies it better per se. So that's my difficulty with it right now, but.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that feedback. Jen?
I think that's a really great point that attests to the issue of not even knowing Destiny. A lot of folks didn't know her. She was boots on the ground doing the work. So for those people, that was why I thought maybe having something at Juneteenth to introduce Destiny, to talk about who she was and what she brought to this community, not just the first Juneteenth. I mean, that was cool, it was fun. But what she did with Birthing of a Diamond, what she did for our community is really important. And so I think having some stories, having some folks there who knew her, who may have been recipients previously, like you were talking about, would be great. And then just having a short form. I mean, sometimes these are pretty daunting for folks.
And I like that idea, because sometimes people don't know about something until they're actually there. And it's like, oh my gosh, had I known I would have done this or would have done differently. But I think it's important for us to have these conversations because as much as we're pushing out, needing submissions, looking for submissions, I think this is one of the first real times that we're actually looking at that whole process. And I feel like we have a lot of people in community who are deserving and they just haven't been called to. And I think a lot of those people, they show up in these spaces. And so I think it would be a great opportunity. I don't know what the logisticals behind that, Tanya, like to work towards something like that. Like I would be in favor of that suggestion because I think it's really important to have a community involved in that process, whether it be like a virtual option to, during that day be able to submit something or in person showing up and submitting an option and just like I don't know.
And I and I think the one point to make was that at our last meeting, it was to be individuals were supposed to submit to me ideas of who could be on that that subcommittee of reviewing the nominations. And since we just I didn't receive any, that would be my one question is, okay, we get submissions, we have the submissions at the Juneteenth event, but then who's gonna review and decide? That's maybe the issue that we're kind of,
I think we can resolve that at our June 2nd meeting.
that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Yeah, like I think we could probably come up with some kind of format. Like I think it's a great idea. So that way we can engage folks that feel comfortable being at the event or folks that may not, but still have a virtual option to participate within that time frame to recognize different individuals in the community. But yeah.
I was just more concerned of logistics. When you're collecting the data, going reviewing it, presenting it, how long you can keep your window open, when you plan to present the award, is it going to be towards the end then? That was the only questions I had or concern I had with that process.
Yeah, so the schedule is still like workable, movable. We did look at I think it was like around 1:30 was when we were going to present the award on that day. So we could even push it back a little further so that way we have some open time. But these are the logistics I think that we have some time to kind of maybe discuss and try to promote and possibly look at having something open up into the event so that way we have stuff, but then also look at the individuals that would be able have an opportunity to review that information in a reasonable amount of time. So.
And I don't want to get caught up in having to have something presented at Juneteenth.
Yeah.
I think it's, as we're weighing options and looking at getting some, meaty nominations, why there would need to be something happening at Juneteenth. Just because it has been does not mean we need to move forward in that same way.
And I think also too, even if we're just setting up this process, it may not happen this year, and then it would just be something that we went through that process at this Juneteenth, then that recipient will receive it at the next one because it already be there and start the process over. I don't know, but I think it does deserve a deeper discussion that we could do in that working group on the 2nd.
In addition to that, something that I'm mulling over about some of the comments that have been brought to our attention today. I don't know who Destiny Holiday was. It's a little bit before my time being on the HRC and just not really plugged into the community at that time. But was she connected to a nonprofit or one of these subset groups that we have that's out there?
Birthing of a Diamond was her nonprofit.
Okay. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
I did read that. My question is, I wonder how many people we miss that are doing fantastic things that may not be attached to a building, a mission, a nonprofit, or whatever. And so I think sometimes as other organizations and groups I've been with, we look at the name on the door, Ishara or Diamond in the Rough, whatever it might be. Not Diamond in the Rough, sorry. But say, oh, we'll just send some information to them to help spread that word. But I also think then we're missing a whole nother group of people that maybe aren't doing that, but just doing it because they feel compelled and don't need to be attached to something. So one of the things I'd also like to add to that June 2nd is how do we take that and multiply it? How do we get it to that next level of people? Because if we continue to solicit nominations from the same 5 or 6 groups, we're going to get the same 5 or 6 nominations. So we need to figure that and look at that larger. That's another reason why I look at past recipients of the award to be able to say, here's some other people in our community that are doing rock star things that should be recognized. They're going to have a better understanding and knowledge of it more times than what our nonprofit leaders might have. So just another thought.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I think we could probably talk about it forever. But yeah, let's reserve our time and have further discussion on the 2nd. And so that way we can come with a plan of action. If you have stuff that just pops off your head, you feel free to email Tanya, and she can put that in a list of some of our discussion points. And if you had areas that, areas that you wanted us to kind of concentrate on, like I have mine, and y'all probably have y'all's, we can work on all that together. So with that being said, go ahead.
Actually, just Madam Commissioner, I just have one last thing I just wanted to bring to light. There was recently, Police Chief Helmick was interviewed regarding a missing girl in our community and Facebook posts that were tied to it. And you did a wonderful job. I appreciate you going on TV and doing that. I understand that not everybody that made these despicable comments are Moorhead residents, but it is just another stark reminder of how much farther we have to go. And those comments should never have been put out there for others to see. I understand we have differences. We don't all see the same. We don't maybe all worship the same. That's fine, because at the end of the day, we're all somebody's child, and some of us are children or fathers or parents or whatever to other children, and that should still be respected. And the loss of, or the potential loss of a child is not the time to be bringing up those types of things. And so I also just denounce that those comments are rude and there's no place for them. It's unfortunate we can't take them down, but again, it was just another reminder that we're so far away in some respects. So thank you, Chief.
A lot of heavy topics today. We kind of mulled over, have an opportunity to kind of process some of this information, or all of this information. Want to thank you all for coming and attending, and we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting, 6:08.